December 5th, 1872. Approximately 400 miles east of the Azores, the British brig Dei Gratia stumbled upon an eerie sight that would ignite one of the most enduring mysteries in maritime history. A ship, adrift in the turbulent waters, caught the attention of Captain David Morehouse and his crew. To their astonishment, it turned out to be the Mary Celeste, a vessel that had departed New York City just 8 days prior and was destined for Genoa, Italy. Bewildered by the circumstances, Captain Morehouse altered course to render aid to the drifting ship. Summoning his boarding party, Captain Morehouse ventured into the vessel. As they explored the interior, they were greeted by an unsettling scene. The ship's charts were scattered about, and personal belongings to the crew remained undisturbed in their quarters. The ship's sole lifeboat was absent, while one of its 2 pumps had been disassembled. Water, rising 3.5 feet high, swirled in the ship's hull, yet the cargo of 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol remained mostly intact. Food and water were plentiful, but there wasn't a single soul aboard the ship. Thus began a captivating enigma. Shrouded in mystery, what had become of the 10 individuals who had embarked on the ill-fated voyage of the Mary Celeste? Over the years, the dearth of concrete evidence has fueled a myriad of speculations. Theories range from mutiny to pirate attacks, from encounters with sea monsters to the wrath of killer waterspouts. But as of recent, fresh investigations, leveraging modern maritime technology, have unearthed new theories about what may have happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste embarked on its ill-fated journey on November 7th, 1872, carrying a crew of 7 men, Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs, his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia. They battled harsh weather conditions for nearly 2 weeks, and the 282-ton vessel eventually reached the Azores, as evidenced by the last entry in the ship's log at 5 a.m. on November 25th. Following their encounter with the Mary Celeste, the crew of the Dei Gratia navigated the abandoned shipping vessel roughly 800 miles to the port of Gibraltar. A British Vice Admiralty court convened a salvage hearing, as was customary when ships were found empty, primarily tasked with determining whether the salvagers, the crew of the Dei Gratia, were entitled to compensation from the ship's insurers. However, the Attorney General overseeing the inquiry suspected that there was foul play and conducted an investigation. Despite 3 months of investigation and scrutiny, the court, as we have evidence of today, cited no misconduct. However, the salvagers, the crew of the Dei Gratia, only received 1/6 of the $46,000 insurance claim, casting doubt on the complete exoneration by officials of the crew and their wrongdoing. However, nothing is known definitively. The ship's state, intact and carrying its full cargo, appeared incompatible with pirates having overtaken the ship. One theory circulated in the 19th century alleged that the crew may have consumed the alcohol on board, which led to mutiny. However, after interviews were conducted with the descendants of the crew, this theory was ruled out. Other hypotheses by experts proposed that alcohol vapors, expanding in the heat of the Azores, triggered a fear of imminent explosion of the vessel, prompting them to abandon the ship. The boarding party that boarded the ship from the Dei Gratia found no traces of fumes and found all of the hatches closed, making experts believe this theory, too, wasn't the right answer. Abandoning a ship in open sea represents what should be the last resort for any captain or crew. But did Captain Briggs, who was commanding the Mary Celeste, issue this order? What drove him to make this decision when the ship was still seaworthy? Researchers as of recent have discovered that Captain Briggs was an experienced and respected figure within shipping circles. There were vital clues discovered within the Mary Celeste's log left by Captain Briggs. On November 25th, the ship was only 6 miles away from, and should have been within sight of, the Santa Maria Island in the Azores. Testimony from the Dei Gratia crew indicated that 10 days later, when they found the ship, it was approximately 400 miles east of the island. A captain of a vessel would typically order abandonment when they were within sight of land. Since Santa Maria was the last landmass for hundreds of miles, experts assumed that the crew of the Mary Celeste deserted on the morning of the 25th after the last log entry had been made. Log entries from the days prior indicate that the ship had faced rough weather and that Captain Briggs was experiencing faulty positioning equipment and was unable to pinpoint their exact location. But still, researchers don't feel like this would have been enough to prompt abandonment. The crew was never heard from again, and researchers now believe that it wasn't mutiny from the crew or an attack by pirates, but perhaps just a series of unfortunate events, the weather, the faulty equipment, mixed with failing pumps, that led the captain to be unable to assess the seaworthiness of the ship, prompting him to abandon ship. But what happened to the crew? Well, that mystery may never be solved. But given the vastness of the ocean, it's likely the answer may rest somewhere in the deep.